What is up, my nerds? Welcome back to another episode of Roll for Nerd Check. A few things I wanted to talk about today. Uh, First thing, you know, being a guy who was born in the early 90s, and as the new kids now call it, the 1900s, makes me feel as old as Gandalf himself. Very insulting, but yeah, early 90s, 93. Pokemon was coming out, big thing. I got into the craze, played the games. Early ones, red version was my first game, and then I got yellow. I had a yellow Game Boy Color. I collected the cards. I had a thick boy binder of Pokemon cards. If you remember collecting them, and it's for all the youngins out there, when you were collecting cards, they sold special slots, dividers, and pretty much protectors. Not like your individual protectors, but you could have like a whole a sheet of protector thing for your cards, and I had like a full binder full cards. Now, do I think I had rare cards? Probably not. In my mind, I did. As a kid, I assumed I did. Thinking back, maybe not. Definitely not, probably. Yeah. But it's the nostalgia thinking that I probably did. But you never know, because I got into it when it was first coming out. So I could have probably had some first editions in there, first prints. But I used to keep it in like our storage room. And not many of you know this, I was raised by my grandparents, so I lived in a house with my aunt, who had 5 of her kids living there, and then my uncle, who didn't have any kids because they were brother and sister, and then my 2 grandparents, and then all my cousins. They're pretty much like my brothers and sisters. And I didn't really have a room because we didn't live in a big house. I think there was just enough rooms for like the adults and like the older cousins, and I kind of floated around. So I didn't really have like a place to put stuff, and I used to keep my Pokemon cards in our storage area, which was pretty much like we had our laundry in there. My grandfather had all his tools. We had our decorations for all the holidays and everything in this one room. So this is where I would keep all my stuff, kind of. I would keep like my Pokemon cards, kept like my at the time, I guess they're coming back, but I kept my rollerblades. I kept everything that like I owned and possessed in this room. And one year my family decided that they were going to do spring cleaning of this back room. It was kind of like a thing every year. It was kind of annoying. But we did a spring cleaning where we took all the shit out and like looked through it all, and then like swept up like all the dirt and stuff, which I get it. And then we put it all back in an organized way, but it never stayed that way. So I never understood why we continued to do this, but we did. And one year, I definitely was older at this time. I think I was like maybe 12 or 13, and I still had my binder of Pokemon cards. And it's not like I wasn't collecting them anymore. It was just like I just stopped like messing with them. So I kind of kept them stored away. I had it in like a chest. I remember now that I had like a little a Foot Locker thing. Like if you think of like Harry Potter, how in at the base of their beds, how they had like those little foot lockers, or like in the military, how they have a foot locker. I kind of had the same thing, but it looked like an old time like luggage chest that you would take on like your long trips in the old days. So I kind of had that thing, but it was like definitely like a cheap one. But I would keep all my stuff in there. And my Pokemon cards were in that. But I don't know what possessed someone to say, hey, we're going to go in Shane's chest and see what he has. And if you can kind of already see where the story's going, and let's throw his shit out. We're going to decide for him that, hey, Shane's too old for these cards, so we're going to throw them out. And when I found out that they were thrown out and in the garbage, I was no good. I was pissed off, man. I was ragingly pissed. And I remember trying to go out to the garbage and find them, but I didn't know about it until like the next day. And of course, it was garbage. It was like garbage day. So they got taken out that night. And, you know, I felt like I was going to go on an adventure to the garbage dump and go search piles of garbage to look for my Pokemon cards because, you know, as a kid, you feel like you spend your life collecting these things, and they become your life. And when someone just like decides for you that you don't want them anymore, it's kind of messed up. And I just like in my mind, I'm like, I not that I think that I had rare cards. It's possible, probably not, but you don't know. You don't know. And I wish I still had that binder today because I hate seeing these videos. The reason why this brought this up because I remember seeing a couple of these videos where people were like opening up their binders and like taking quick pictures of the cards, and it'll tell you the rating and value. Their rating and value, and or they'll open up like fresh packs of like the OG cards, and it's crazy what these people are buying them for. Even like new cards now, people are opening them up and like kind of giving them ratings. Like some new cards like that they're in new packs can sometimes be worth like $30. You know, a pack of like a small starter pack would be $30. You can open up one card and it'd be pretty much the price of the deck that you bought it for. And I'm like, I wonder what my OG cards would be worth, especially because I took care of them. I kept them in a nice sleeve, kept them protected from everything. And I'm just like, man, I keep just thinking about it. I don't know why. I think about it all the time on what that stuff could be worth now. It's almost like when people collect comic books. You know, I wish I got into collecting comic books back in the day, because I probably would have kept them in sleeves too, and then, you know, I might have a couple, you know, first edition prints. Maybe, I don't know. You know, I'm kind of speculating here, but you know, I'm hoping. But yeah, that crushed my soul. Did anyone else have that issue where like you would collect something and your family just decided that you didn't need it anymore and they threw it out? Or was that just mine? You know, and I just grew up like that. Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing. Like I just kept seeing, that those videos and making it very, very hard for me, bringing up bad memories. But I don't want to talk about too many bad memories because there's a lot of fun things that are going on. And note that this episode is going to have some spoilers because last night, me and the wife went to go see the new Mario movie, and I'll give you my overall review on what I think at the end, because there's a couple things I wanted to talk about before, and one thing that makes me happy, and I'm very, 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 very excited for, is the new Star Wars game comes out this month. April 28th is coming out. I am very, very excited to continue the story. If you have not played the first one, definitely go play it. Even if you're not a Star Wars person, I think you can still appreciate the style of game, the fighting style, the overall RPG, the story, the skill trees, and overall build up to the game. Even if you don't know Star Wars, it explains in the game what's going on, sort of. You kind of get the idea throughout, because real quick, if as your main character, Cal, he started off as a little Padawan, a youngling who was working with a Jedi Master, and he forgets like his skills and his lessons that he was taught. He never really forgets the Force itself. Still has the ability to use the Force. and still has his lightsaber. But if you don't know the story, during episode 3, Anakin Skywalker becomes Dark Vader. He works with the Sith, Palpatine, and they commit a genocide of the Jedi, Order 66. So you kind of get to see him training. Like, he has a lot of flashback memories of him training with his master, and then you get to see Order 66 happen and why he was where he was, and then you get to remember all your stuff again as you're building up through the story. So the new game, I'm hoping you gotta kind of get to keep all your skill tree that you built up, and he's a lot older now. The Last Order, which is like, I think is the Empire. I think it's the Last Order, but the Empire is still like around. Well, they're around. Oh, man, I'm fucking this up. I'm really fucking this up right now. Yeah, so it's definitely following like right after the Purge happened. So it's a few years after the Purge happened. So obviously it's not like Luke hasn't started doing his stuff yet and everything. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to watch the last trailer before the game starts coming out, and we overall look at it together. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen bits and pieces of other trailers, and it looks good, but give you guys a reference of what we're talking about. All right, let's see this.
You were only a child when they sent you off to war.
BB-8. So the droid on the back
Now
is BB-8. He just pretty much helps you.
On your shoulders.
All right, we get to still do the Darth Maul style dual sabers. Oh, BB-8 can fly now? Oh, he's so much older now. He's a lot older now.
I cannot tell you who you must become, or where the line is drawn.
Hey, whoa.
There are no easy choices.
Oh, see, look.
These are dark times.
That used to be the temple, Jedi temple.
We have few allies.
Good to see you, Cal.
The odds are against us. And they will always be against us.
Man. Oh my god, they got a little more skill stuff now.
Now or never.
Obviously. Alright. I'm not going to watch the whole thing because I don't want to have any copyright stuff against me, but it's a little tidbit of it. I'm really excited. I played through the first one like 3 times. First on PS4, played on 2 game modes, because once you beat it, you get to like, I remember I really wanted, I know this sounds messed up, but I wanted a red lightsaber, and usually you can only do it if you're a Sith, but if you beat the game, because you get at the end, you get to choose your own color kyber crystal. You get to make one and have different, a lot of different colors. But if you beat the game, you could be, you can't be a Sith, but you could have a red one. And I don't know why, I really wanted one bad, so I played through again with a red lightsaber on a harder mode. And that game is no joke. If you want to at least have fun with it, play on normal, because it definitely challenges you, but it gets super difficult if you go higher up in the levels, like extremely hard, almost like a Dark Souls style, like hard. If you want advice playing the game, learn how to parry well. Learn how to parry well. And if the characters do like this red, like they glow red, indicating that they're doing like their special attack, just dodge right away, get out of the way, and then attack, and like it cranks down their health. And just learn how to parry. I didn't learn that until like maybe the end, nor towards the like middle-ish end of the game, and then I was like, wow, this makes it so much easier, because I didn't learn to parry earlier on, and I just struggled with some of these bosses. But as it got harder, I definitely struggled and was getting angry and getting very frustrated with the game until like I finally learned how to parry. And so giving some shout out and word of advice: if you play the game, learn to parry. But yeah, so I'm really excited for the new game. We'll play it on Roll for Nurture Gaming. Go through, play that. There's a couple other games we got to finish. I'm gonna finish Hogwarts Legacy soon. I'm gonna hop in. We're gonna hop right back into that. Then I want to play Modern Warfare 2. A lot of these games are stacking up, and I don't want that. So we're gonna finish the games. You know, my ADHD is kicking in. I want to play all these games, but we're gonna finish them. You know, especially Hogwarts Legacy. If you are watching the channel, I'm gonna finish that. We're gonna jump right back into that soon, and we're gonna finish that up. That being said, I told you that me and the wife went to go see the Super Mario movie last night. And it was, before I give you my review, I want to talk about what critics are saying and what some other people were saying. Now, I don't understand what people expected or expect from a animated movie about a video game character. I really do not. And because, that being said, the critics were giving it like a 50%. Now, I don't always listen to critics because critics give a lot of the movies that I love a horrible review. And they just trash it. And from what I was seeing by a lot of fans or overall people like me who went to go see the movie were giving it a big thumbs up, 5 stars. So if you listen to critics, you won't really go enjoy, because I was hesitant at first because I was like, well, critics are giving a bad review, and there were some other people that were giving a bad review. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just think for myself. I'm going to go and watch it. And guess what? Me and the wife freaking loved this movie. I loved it. It was funny. It had so much humor in it. It was very, very funny. And shout out to all the actors that played their roles. A lot of people were giving Chris Pratt hate, or that they were, saying that why would they choose him as Mario? I liked it. I'm going to be in the minority, and I don't care. I liked him as Mario. It was good. It wasn't like he was talking like Chris Pratt, like, hey, I'm Chris Pratt. I'm playing Mario and being his like weird self. No, like he had a little bit, neither Mario and Luigi had like an Italian accent. They had a New York, Brooklyn accent because that's where they're from. They stated that in the movie. They are from Brooklyn. So they're going to have a Brooklyn accent, not an Italian from Italy accent. They're from Brooklyn. So why would they have an Italian accent? And Chris Pratt's Brooklyn accent, I mean, I'm not from New York City, Brooklyn area, so I don't, I can't speculate on how his accent was, but I believed it. It was really well done. I liked his performance in the movie, or his voice acting ability in the movie. I love Jack Black. He was hilarious as Bowser. It was funny. Guys, go see the movie. Give this movie a boost. Give it props, because for what we got in the 90s for a Mario movie, it sucked. It didn't make sense. Like, obviously they were plumbers, but they like were in a sewer. It wasn't like the Mushroom Kingdom. It was weird. This was straight up visual effects, amazing. Comedy, amazing. A lot of Nintendo references. And again, spoilers. I'm not going to give away the overall storyline, but like the music that they had in there, like a ringtone popped up on a phone, and it was the GameCube. It was the GameCube load screen sound. And I was like, and if you're a Nintendo fan, like if you're a Nintendo gamer and like Nintendo guy growing up with these consoles, I caught that. My wife didn't catch it because she didn't really play GameCube, but I was like, when I heard it, I was like, oh, I know what that is. And then she was like, what? I was like, that's the GameCube. I was like, that's the GameCube. They had like Jumpman references in there, all kinds of stuff. Go see this movie. Critics were giving it like a 50%, but then I look at like people who went to see the movie and gave it a off the board 5-star rating because they were like, it's a wholesome movie for you to go see the with the family and the kids, you know. And I agree. I think it was a very great family friendly movie. I don't have kids, but I'm a huge Mario fan. I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I went to see a movie, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. 5 stars across the board. Now, going to these critics, what did you expect the movie to be? Like, did you expect it to be like, I don't know, this Scorsese or M. Night Shyamalan or Christian, or Christopher Nolan movie with like a huge plot backstory? It was a cartoon. It's a cartoon movie for kids. What did you expect it to be? I feel like these critics, I swear, and it makes me upset that these critics who watch these movies and have a job to review these movies give the weirdest reviews. Oh, it was kind of childish to me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a kid's movie, dude. Like, sorry, it didn't have like the huge, plot twist, Bowser's the good guy. Like, oh man, I didn't expect that to happen. Like I feel like critics are so disconnected. At least in my opinion, critics are so disconnected to what fans or what the audience wants to see, because you see it on a lot of movies where they will give a review of the movie like a 2-star. Didn't understand the plot, didn't understand what was going on, blah blah blah, because you're not a fan, obviously. Throughout the whole movie of Super Mario, I'm just like, I'm in awe. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. Like, it's so good. Like, I don't want to give anything away. Like, I really want to talk about it, but maybe I'll talk about it a little later on in like a couple episodes down, because I want to let the movie just came out, so I want people to go see it and experience for themselves. But go see this movie, give it props, build it up, because I don't think it's getting its due right now. I think people were judging it before they even go see it. People were hating on Chris Pratt. I don't get that. Like, why? Like, just go watch the movie. Enjoy it. It's good. It's funny. It made me crack up the whole time, because just like little things they kept doing. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. That was hilarious, because he's a pretty funny Donkey Kong. They have like little Nintendo references, and obviously this is going to be a world building thing. I can tell already from how they're doing it, and how it ended. There's always been fan theories, or I think there's already in the works that, so they made Super Mario, and I think from what I've heard, they're making a Legends of Zelda movie. And I think a Metroid movie will be coming as well. So, real quick, it's not really going to ruin the movie, because obviously, how does he get there? It's like they get sucked through a tube, and you can see like a bunch of different, like, it's just an open world type thing, like galaxies. So, if there's many galaxies, obviously there's many worlds. So I think they're going to cohesively like make it together, kind of like an MCU type thing, DCU type thing, where all the Nintendo characters are linked together, because obviously you have Mario from the Mushroom Kingdom and Donkey Kong all in the same world. So why couldn't you have Link? Why couldn't you have Kirby? Why can't you have Metroid? You can have all these universes together, and then like have a Super Smash Brawl type of storyline. It was very good. How they did the power ups, how they did the overall setting up how the acrobatics, how he's able to do these things works. It was a great movie, and I think people need to go watch it. I really do. Don't hate on it before you go see it, because you're missing out, in my opinion. You are missing out. You're not. Yeah, I can't. I don't want to harp too much, but I really think you should go watch it. If you want to wait till it comes out on a streaming service, sure. But I think it's worth going to see in the movie theater. I really do. Let me see how the movie is doing in the box office, because I hope it's doing well. So let's see. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Box office: The Super Mario Brothers heading for record 195 million U.S. opening, 368 million globally. I think that's good, right? Let's see. Super Mario is shaping up to be the first all audience blockbuster in 2023. Nice. Not only is it a PG rated pick, whipping up interest among families, is appealing to the generation of adults who grew up playing Nintendo widely popular Mario games. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. It's a family movie. But not only is it just a family movie, like if you've never played these games, for people who did play the games, go see the movie. It's amazing. I think it's great. And let's see exactly what I was saying. The animation comedic adventure story follows Brooklyn plumbers and brothers Mario, Chris Pratt, and Luigi Charlie Day. To be fair, Charlie Day didn't really have much to say other than a little bit of a couple lines here and there, but all of them did really well in their roles. Go see the movie. It's really good, and that's just my opinion. You can think I'm wrong. You can think I'm right, but I feel I'm right, and I feel that this movie is going to continue to rise, especially with people continue to go see it and haven't gotten the chance to go see it. Roll for Nerdy Check here gives his stamp of approval on go see the movie. I have a low bar to meet when it comes to movies. It's not hard to entertain me, and I just felt like I was a kid in that candy store watching this movie. Kid playing the game watching this movie. So it was really cool to see all my favorite Nintendo characters, at least from the Mario world or Donkey Kong world, on the big screen. Very, very funny. Quick news for the overall channel. I has scheduled my first guest to come on to the channel for the next episode. So be aware and be on the lookout for that. His name is Mark. He actually plays Magic the Gathering professionally. Plays in Vegas. I think he was going to Atlantic City. They have competitions everywhere. They have him even here locally in Maryland, in Baltimore. He plays professionally. He wins prize money and stuff. At least I think he has won prize money. I'm not, but I know he does it professionally. It's definitely a buy-in process. We're gonna have him on the channel, and him and I are gonna talk about it, and we'll give him his little time in the limelight to talk about his journey and how it's going, and have a little different things to talk about. I've never played Magic. I thought it was too complicated for me. I am stupid in aspect. I collected Pokemon cards. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! But even Yu-Gi-Oh! Now has gotten ridiculously complicated from when it used to be. I mean, from when I played Yu-Gi-Oh!, you had 52 cards. Was it 52 cards? Or I can't even remember what the standard amount of cards you had. But you had traps, spells, and monsters. And you had lesser like weaker monsters that had a certain star rating, and then you had your stronger monsters that had a star rating. And like, so if you had 5 stars and above monsters, you had to sacrifice a monster or higher, depending on how strong the monster was. You would have to have a 2 tribute summon monster, so you had to sacrifice 2 monsters. And now you can set up your deck to where you could throw out a spell card, and you say Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, right? You could have Call of the Blue Eyes, and then you lay down that spell card, and it allows you to draw a Blue Eyes from your deck to your hand, and then depending on what tribute monster you have, it counts as a two tribute summon. So literally, you just gotta lay that card down, and then your next turn, you could sacrifice that monster to summon your Blue Eyes off the jump. Or there's monsters that you can summon Blue Eyes off the jump. It's gotten crazy. I've seen videos of the competitions of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, and I'm like, they are leagues out of my realm. I thought I was good at the time, but I really wasn't. My cousin Tyler was way better than me. I remember us playing together, and I thought I was the shit. I remember thinking I was the shit after watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pulling out, I had a dual disc. I had the actual dual disc. I would pull it out, bam, and my cousin just has a regular like paper mat. I don't even think he used the mat. I'm fucking using my dual disc. I'm thinking I'm the shit, and I'm like, yeah, I lay down this monster, boom, and I put down this card, face down, and I end my turn. And my cousin be like, all right. He goes, boop, boop, boop. All right, what do you got? And I'm like, you just fucking wrecked my life points. You had like, I think when we started, when the whole game started, you only had 2,000 life points, and then they upgraded to 8,000. Because if you're actually playing the game for real, 2,000 life points isn't shit. It isn't shit. You could lose so quickly. And that's what would happen. I think, and then I'm like setting this whole thing up really quickly, because back in the day, you had to really strategize on how you were going to play a deck. Like I remember my first deck was a Yugi deck. And you had the Dark Magician, and then you had the Blackluster Soldier, and you had to like special summon him to get it. And my cousin had the Blue Eyes deck, but it wasn't like it was the OG Blue Eyes where like you didn't have all these specialty cards to special summon. He literally had to like find different setup. I think he had the Kaiba. It was the Kaiba deck. It wasn't like a legit, like now you can buy a dragon deck. And it's like a setup for like Blue Eyes and stuff. But he had like a Kaiba, and I had the Yugi, which is kind of funny because that just shows how similar our personalities is, but how opposites we are. Because I really loved the Magician deck that Yugi had, and he loved the overall dragon style that Kaiba had. And I remember I was the shit, and nothing against Yugi, but his deck was kind of dumb compared to what Kaiba had. Yugi had a lot of traps and spells on his side, versus where Kaiba had more monsters that were like kind of like the powerhouse. Where you, if you had a Yugi deck, you really had to be strategic with your spells and traps that kind of correlated with your monsters. Because if you weren't laying them spells or traps right, you weren't gonna win. And I learned that very quickly with playing against my cousin, because I'm thinking I'm setting stuff up right, and then all of a sudden I'm getting my ass handed to me. So, long story short, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so much harder, but even harder game that was out was Magic. My cousins were into Magic. I don't even think they really played that much. They just had the cards, but I know Magic was so hard and complicated for my little pea brain to know. But so the guest that were coming on, his name's Mark. He plays professional. He plays professionally at Magic the Gathering. So that's interesting to me, and that's why I thought we would have him on and talk about it, because maybe he can explain Magic a little bit better, and maybe I'll get into it. I don't know. But look out for that on episode 16. He'll be on here, and we'll be talking about it. But yeah, that's all I got for you for now. Other than that, so if you want to watch the video version of the podcast, look on YouTube at a Roll for Nerdy Check, the number 4 in the name, Roll for Nerdy Check podcast on YouTube. If you want to listen to the audio version, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. wherever you really get your podcast needs, we're on it. We have an Instagram, Facebook, TikTok still for now, I guess. Yeah, so like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for the follow, download. Views help, downloads help, subscribing helps. Whatever you want to do, thank you. So any support helps, really. But as always, stay nerdy, my friends.